What is your American dream?
My American dream is for Trump to be out of office and for we build bridges, not walls.
My American dream is to own my own business and just thrive and be wealthy.
My American dream is the NFL.
My American dream is to get a brand new president.
My American dream is that we collectively recognize each other as human beings and that we don't pass judgments based upon color, but we pass judgment based upon accomplishments.
My American dream is to be lucrative in my business, and then also I want to be able to give to different ministries, different causes, people who are in need to help them come up. If I manage to do that, I live my life.
I want to be the best soccer player in the world.
My American dream is to become a game designer because I'm really good with computers.
My American dream. Well, there's a lot going on right now, especially with the kids who are being separated from their families. So, I mean, the ultimate American dream for me would be to get all these families back together. It's really important. I mean, I couldn't imagine just being so young and separated from my family.
My American dream, I want to be a baseball player.
My American dream is just, I want to live in a world where we can all collectively live as a community and together and be able to thrive and impoverish without racism and hatred and, you know, just a non-judgmental world that we can all live in.
Everyone has a right to the American dream.
Groundhog Sam! How to win friends and influence people. Perfect. It will be delivered to me by tomorrow. Can't wait. Oh, hello everybody. I hope you had a great weekend. I was just ordering myself a book on how to win friends and influence people because if you missed Friday's episode of Bradshaw Live, I had said that I would do a Groundhog Sam skit with a lucky viewer if we got to 700 shares. And I realized I have some haters in the crowd. Rod J. Roberts and Jeff Bosey. I'm looking at you two. Yeah. So I decided to order this book so I can get some tips on how to get them to warm up to me. In fact, maybe even someday love me. Because almost everybody loves Groundhog Sam. And I know they say my voice is annoying, but hello, I'm not a grown man. I'm a little groundhog. In the infamous words of Lady Gaga, I was born this way. Did you miss Friday's episode of Bradshaw Live? Well, if you did, we saw the second half of Dr. Mona Hanna-Attisha's interview with Brad. Dr. Mona is the pediatrician who helped to break the Flint, Michigan lead poisoning in the water story. Incredible. What's going to be on today's show? You'll just have to watch and see. Enjoy. I can't wait for my book to come tomorrow.
Welcome! I was a little delayed there. It's Monday, and this is Bradshaw Live. Meanwhile, I'm like smack in the center of the sign.
Your sign.
I'm smack in the center of the sign.
Look at you.
There you go. Look at you.
There you go.
Movie magic. Yeah.
That looks weird.
Now it's even weirder. What do you think?
Now you look like the Vanna White of Spar Bernstein.
Yeah. It still look kind of weird.
Let me have some coffee while they figure this out. I'll have some coffee while they figure it out.
What did you want?
You have any biscuits or some, what is it?
Ooh, crumpets?
Crumpets?
Tea and crumpets?
No,
Red Lobster?
Biscuits.
Oh.
You like the Red Lobster biscuits?
Heck yeah, what?
Heck yeah!
But no, with coffee. You don't have coffee.
Let me while they're figuring out the camera angles, let me introduce Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias,
hey.
Belgium Kim, and welcome everybody. Welcome to the Brad Squad, and welcome to the Brad Show.
Yeah.
Right, because there's actually two shows.
Yeah.
There's a Brad Squad show where everybody's just has the volume off and just going at it with each other, not even paying attention to what we're doing over here.
Right.
And then there's another show what we're doing over here. It's like a show within a show.
It's a show. It's the inception of Bradshaw Live.
Right.
And with that, how'd it go on Thursday? I did not get a chance to view what happened on Thursday yet. I apologize.
Thursday? You didn't?
I did not.
Horrible.
Was it big?
It was actually a really good episode.
Are you still alive?
I'm still alive, guys. I'm still on the show. Woo.
Yes. And what show, pray tell, would that be?
This would be Grand Hustle on BET. Yes. It was great because we were for working with T.I.'s organization called Us or Else, where he basically rebuilds and helps the community. So he gave us both groups an issue, a social issue that we have going on in our community. We had mass incarceration, and the other team had to it was building education. So we had to get. We won. We reached over 300,000 people.
Aren't you supposed to say spoiler alert first?
No, it already showed. It showed
I know, but I haven't seen it yet. Spoiler alert.
But you don't know who went home.
Oh, okay, that's
true. So I'm not going to say that.
That is true. Okay.
I'm not going to say that. But like, we reached over 300,000 people on Twitter when we had people hashtagging it. So it was amazing.
Wow.
We had over 300 signatures for petitions to end mass incarceration. So both teams worked really well.
And you got a lot of publicity out there for mass incarcerations and all that.
Yes.
So that's cool. So it was like a win-win.
And that's what he was saying, especially after last week.
Yeah, it was like a win-win. Last week was bad.
Where it was a lose-lose.
Yeah, right. It's amazing how you go from lose-lose to win-win really fast. I think the Brad squad knows that when they go win-win when they go over 700 chairs, and then they're lose-lose. Brad squad is very familiar with that.
It's to tickle or not to tickle.
Right. Well,
to get extra content or not.
On Friday, I was getting really scared that I was going to get punched in the face by Jill.
So what happened? I'm just hearing all of this. Look, I leave for a weekend.
Apparently we were trying to get to 700 shares.
Okay.
And then we added, like, if you get to 1,000 shares, because I thought we were racing to 700 really, really fast.
Right.
And then I'm like, all right, let's get to 1,000. And Jill was yelling in my ear because I was pulling, the David Hasselhoff card out again. And she's like, enough with the David Hasselhoff already. So then I said,
she's still mad that he's getting married, huh?
Yeah, so apparently. So I said, wow, if I mention it one more time, I think she's going to, I'm thinking in my head, I think she's going to come and punch me in the face.
Right.
So then I said, you know what, if I'm going to get punched, I might as well get some shares out of this as well, right? So then I said, all right, if we reach 1,000 shares, because Jill's yelling in my ear, we'll get, she'll come and punch me. And then there was a lot of people in the Brad squad who actually
wanted to see you get punched?
Who wanted to see me just go down in flames.
So how many shares did they get to?
We didn't get anywhere near it. It was like 400 shares.
But they actually tried.
But it was a Friday. So on a Friday, it's not as big of a live viewing audience on Friday because everyone's out doing their thing on Friday. But it's funny, we get the views over the weekend. So people do catch us over the weekend, but for the live views, not necessarily.
That's too funny.
And so that's what happened on Friday. That's the recap of what happened on Friday. And Belgium, and by the way, I saw you on Instagram. You have an Instagram account, apparently.
I do.
Yes, I'm told. And then
what was I doing?
You were in Times Square, and you looked up. And there you are, your show in Times Square.
Times Square.
Now, when you were in Times Square and you were doing that, did anyone come up over to you and say, "Hey, I know you from the show"?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's been happening a lot. Yesterday, I went to a day party, and it was just like, mad people came up, was like, I hate George.
Really?
I hate George so much. He takes all the credit for doing absolutely nothing. He is the laziest human being on that cast.
So annoying.
I cannot handle George. I have such strong feelings.
George can start overtaking Omarosa as the biggest villain.
Basically.
As the biggest villain on reality TV.
Yeah.
And then I think Omarosa, noticed that, and she tried to one-up him this week. I think. I don't know for sure.
Omarosa is trying to get back good with us, though.
Yeah, she's trying to one-up George as being the biggest villain. Or maybe, now that she's coming out with all this dirt, she's actually, maybe she's like, Darth Vader coming over.
That's what I'm saying.
To the light side?
She's like becoming a Jedi now.
That's what I'm saying. I think she's trying to get back good. She's trying to get invited back to the family picnic.
Right, maybe.
Yeah. No, she is trying
Are y'all going to let Omarosa come back to the family picnic?
I don't know.
She's trying to stay relevant. She is just trying to keep her name in the press.
It's a lot of trash that a lot of people want to hear.
But I will say this.
Yeah.
I will say this, okay? And I'm no no fan of Donald Trump. And by the way, I thought the best American dream I ever heard was the little girl saying, "My American dream is for a new president." That to me was the best American dream.
Yes.
But I will say this, you know, Jill was texting me over the weekend, and she's like, "Would you believe what Omarosa is saying on television? You know, and how disgusting it was, how they treated her." And I said, you know, I don't know how much there is to believe from her, because I think what she does is a lot of self-serving things. You know, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, she was saying how wonderful Trump was.
Right.
You know, Trump was saying how wonderful she was. You know, Trump's now calling her a loser. But wait, why is she a loser if she was invited back to The Apprentice 3 times, and then she's the only one from the show who got a job at the White House?
Right.
So how much of a loser could she have been in Trump's eyes up until, you know, that moment?
Yeah.
But I will say this. They say she has a lot of audio tapes.
Yes.
And as much as I think she's self-serving.
Is that legal?
It may have been illegal to tape within the Situation Room. Now, I don't know what the laws are in Washington, D.C. In terms of taping, you know, without knowledge of the other parties.
Right.
It's certainly, from what I understand, illegal to tape in the Situation Room where there's very sensitive political things going on. In New York State, Kim can walk into my office and tape me.
Right.
And not tell me. And that's legal as long as one person agrees, which is Kim.
Me.
Okay. So in the state of New York, it's perfectly legal.
Wow.
It's perfectly legal to do that. I don't know what the laws are in Washington, D.C., but I will say this. Okay, the tapes don't lie.
Absolutely.
Right. So as much as I kind of don't believe her, and as much as I want to believe her, but I kind of don't because she's been so self-serving. It's Omarosa. If she's got it on tape, I believe it.
Well,
so I want to hear some more tapes.
And she already released the John Kelly tape over the weekend, right?
I'm sorry?
She released the John Kelly tape of her in the Situation Room
and
over
Jill
the
is
weekend.
whispering in my ear, she just Googled it, is two-party consent in Washington, D.C.
So you would have to have somebody else in the room with you.
So like that tape that she released with John Kelly could be illegal if that's in fact the law in Washington, D.C.
Unless she has somebody who is also in the room that will say
that he agreed to tape.
Yeah.
I doubt that would be the case.
You know what I think? I think the thing is, her and Trump had a great relationship, of course, because she got a job there, and I think the rest of the cabinet just did not like her, and the fact that he didn't fight for her.
I don't know what kind of relationship they had. I think they had a nice relationship while she was on The Apprentice, because it worked for both of them. She got Trump ratings. Trump liked her for the ratings.
Right.
You know, after the show, you know, were they hanging out and having dinner? Was Omarosa hanging out at Mar-a-Lago with, you know, Trump and Melania? I doubt it.
I don't know.
And I don't think so. And then Trump needed somebody of color in the White House.
Right.
And she was and it was either her or Kanye. I mean, that was basically going to be it. Right? And Kanye was making too much money to come work in the White House.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who else he was going to bring in.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? But that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely
That's
right.
my opinion.
I think they were, and they both went to keep, and Omarosa even said it, right? That it was, we both had a mutually symbiotic relationship. It helped him get the black vote, or at least make it seem like he was on the team of African Americans, exactly, and it allowed her to stay in the news.
How are you going to get the black vote from a black woman that nobody want to claim?
Exactly. That's the terrible part about it. Like, she's the worst representative.
Trump don't know that. Right? He didn't know that.
So oblivious.
He didn't know that.
Right.
What?
So in the event, I'm glad you're still on the show.
Thank you.
Woo! And I'm glad so far that George has not lost his pedestal yet as the bad guy.
He won't.
Right, he's not. As much as Omarosa comes charging.
But in the next episode to come, or the one after, you might see me lose my cool.
With George.
Yes.
Right. Did you ever punch him in the face?
this is something
that we would have to see.
That you will have to see. I don't know if they're going to show it, but I'm pretty sure.
All right, if we get to 1,000 shares, you're going to watch Jonathan this week punch George in the face. Now.
Then I really would have got.
Can we go back and retape that?
This is also Jonathan's last week.
Right. Yeah, I would have got kicked off right away.
Right.
They made sure to tell me that.
Meanwhile, it was a very rainy weekend.
Yeah.
It was a very, very rainy, at least in New York. I hope it was sunny where you were, but it was an extraordinarily rainy weekend for the entire weekend. Mm-hmm. It was like a washout this weekend.
It was.
Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What did you do, Kim? I didn't talk to you yet. I have not. I really don't know what you did this weekend. We have not really conversed.
We spoke most of the day on Saturday.
We did.
We spoke most of the day on Saturday.
We did. But you want to know why Kim and I talked on Saturday? Because we were talking about YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, we're having, after this, I just want everyone to know, and we're going to say hello to the squad in a second. Mm-hmm. All right? But after this show is up at 7:30, we're going to go off the air on YouTube and on Facebook. But we're going to come back on the air for an after-hours show, Brad After Hours, with Kim and Yo-Yo for 10-15 minutes on YouTube only. So please subscribe to YouTube at The Brad Show.
Yes.
Okay, and so what did you do this weekend? So Kim and I were talking about what is this after show going to be?
What the hell are we doing?
Right. And she goes,
going to be a new background and stuff?
Yeah.
Are we gonna have
No. So Kim goes, okay, you're going to say hello.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to say hello.
Yeah. That is about as far as we got.
That's as far as we got.
All Saturday.
All Saturday.
So that's what I did on Saturday.
So we're going to find out what we're going to say after hello, but you got to watch.
Yeah, on Sunday I did some baking. It was delightful. I was adulting and I was baking. Yeah,
Adulting.
I killed the game in the kitchen, y'all.
You killed the game as an adult.
As an adult and in the kitchen.
What'd you bake?
I made something called Carmelitas.
And where are they?
I have a policy. I do not bring baked goods to work. It's just a thing that I...
Meet me outside with them then.
I can't do that.
Why don't you bring baked things to work?
You know what? It was a thing.
What's inside? Is there anything illegal in these baked things? Yeah, I mean, now she's a millennial. Who knows what she's baking inside these?
It's criminal. No, I read this amazing book one time called Nice Girls Don't Get the Corner Office, and it was about like how to shatter stereotypes in the workplace. And one of the things they said is, do not bring baked goods to your place of work. You are not people's mother. You are an employee. That is what that book
Now, whoever wrote that is like, that's the dumbest ass book I ever heard in my life.
Omarosa probably wrote that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, seriously.
If I had to write a book, okay, bribe your fat boss with food.
Right.
Okay, come in and give the fat boss food, and you get the corner office. That's how I would handle me.
Right.
What?
Exactly.
Oh my God, Brad, there's a whole tray of them in my fridge. Just you wait. I'm showing up tomorrow. He said corner office. You didn't say corner office.
Listen.
And with that, by the way, we would be remiss.
Absolutely.
It's already 6 o'clock.
And we started on time today.
And we started on time today. We would be remiss without saying good evening to Malia Lobenmartin, Dionne Watson, Clyde Bernard, Barbara Lord, Jewel Prince. We know Jewel?
Do we?
Patrona. It says she's a top fan.
Ooh.
Patrona Collins. Barbara Lord and Abigail Taylor Watson, Tamika Nelson, Patrona Collins, Clyde Bernard. Who else we got to say hello to here as I'm going through this very quickly? Cordella Douglas, Jeff Bosey, saying hello one and all. Jeff Bosey called out by a groundhog.
Yeah, what was up with that, y'all?
Jeff Bosey, when the groundhog first came out, was very anti-groundhog.
Wow.
Yes.
Did you feel the same about me?
Yes, was very anti-groundhog.
Yeah.
Lisa Bling Rose, Jella Shauna, Dawn Harriet, how you doing? Janet Brown, and who else? Christy Consali saying hello. Groundhog Sam popping in there. Yvonne Steele. There's so many people who say hello now. It's hard to get to everybody. So if I apologize, if I missed you, I apologize. Sankey White. And did I miss some people? Donna Roden, Reginald Amata, all very familiar names. I said Donna Roden, right? Demba Sal, CeCe Mitchell, Georgia Unbreakable Foster. I love when people give themselves their own middle name.
I love that.
I love what?
Unbreakable.
Unbreakable. I like it.
What would your made-up middle name be on Facebook?
Brad. Hello. Bernstein.
That is really good.
Carol Anderson, the Tiger. Jill Gould, popping in there. Jilly, saying hello.
Jilly.
And on YouTube, I would be remiss if I didn't say hello to Anna Tomarevsky.
Yeah.
Saying hello, Brad Squad. I wish a great show to everyone. She's watching on YouTube. YouTube could become our preferred channel.
It's nice and clear.
Yes, it's much clearer.
It is.
Allen saying hello to everybody on YouTube. Kool-Aid popping right in with a question. Doesn't even want to say hello to anybody. Just wants
no
their
time
question.
to spare for Kool-Aid.
No, right. M. Prasad saying hello. Cavella Purcell on YouTube. Could be the best comment of the day so far.
I think it might be.
Love you, Brad. You're the best.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah.
I like that. I'm a fan of that.
Heck yeah.
I also really like Emperor Sode's comment, Avenatti Omarosa 2020.
By the way, what do you think of Avenatti saying you got to fight fire with fire? Do you think he would be a good... I mean, I think it would be a really good tabloid election, whether or not,
Absolutely, of course it
what
would.
What is his skill in becoming president versus Trump's, I guess? I don't know.
Right, he would be more qualified.
It would be like the National Enquirer election. I mean.
Yeah.
Right.
It would be...
I understand people who are now coming out and saying at least this person is more qualified than Donald Trump, but again, that should not be the benchmark for presidential nominations is, are you more qualified than our current president?
I don't know. And by the way, Burke Madera, we're not getting off of Facebook, so don't worry. You can always watch us on Facebook. We just think it's a crisper view on YouTube.
It is.
It's a crisper view, so you don't have to worry. Meanwhile, what? What are you laughing about?
They're funny.
What? Who's funny?
Just people.
You're laughing. You're laughing. Go fill us in. Fill me in on your comedy.
Our thing is, a little delayed. So I'm looking at some of my facials and I'm not noticing that I'm making them.
You make faces.
Yeah.
You make a lot of faces.
Do
you ever go back and watch the show? If you go back and watch the show, okay, I make faces, but Jonathan makes faces too.
There are a lot of GIFs online now of my faces from the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're gonna need in your Bradshaw Live GIFs when we finally create the Jiffy library we want. We're gonna tag them Grand Tussle, so then you'll have a full list of all your faces.
By the way, Belgium Kim, you're right there with the GIFs too. Okay?
I know.
You are right there with the GIFs
Mine
as
are
well.
all excited though. It's just me being super happy all the time.
So anyway, hello to everybody and welcome to our show. We're going to be getting to your immigration questions in about 5 or 10 minutes from now. So if you call right now, 1-800-529-5465, we will be answering your immigration questions. We're also going to get to your immigration questions and social media check-in. We're also going to do some social media check-in on Brad After Hours on YouTube. So if we don't get to all of your social media questions on Facebook and YouTube show together right now till 7:30, we will get to your social media questions on Brad After Hours on YouTube. In the meantime, please like and follow Bradshaw Live. It's the only way to be notified. And when you like and follow, you have to say, please notify me. This is a priority. Please notify me when, and it's a question you ask when you like and follow Bradshaw Live. So you're always notified when we come live on the air. In addition to that, please follow us on Instagram at Bradshaw Live for behind the scenes. And you could also watch in our stories a 2-minute, 2.5-minute clip every day of the prior show. So in case you just can't get enough of Bradshaw Live, you can watch the highlights in 2.5 minutes or less on Instagram. In addition, please subscribe to YouTube. As I said, we're going to do Brad After Hours, Brad After Show. What are we calling it? We didn't get that far. Is it Brad After Hours or Brad After Show After Hours?
I thought we were going to do just After Show. Bradshaw Live After Show.
Bradshaw Live After Show After Hours, I think, is a better name.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
Are we abandoning After Dark entirely?
Maybe not.
After Dark.
The first episode of our After Show After Hours.
We don't even have a name for it.
Let's say Brad After Hours.
Brad After Hours.
I like Brad After Hours.
Brad After Hours, maybe.
Yeah.
I like
maybe.
that.
We like it.
Brad After Hours.
Jill,
After
do you
Dark,
like
After
Brad
Show.
After Hours? She's the producer.
Brad After Hours.
Jill says she does.
Woo!
There it is. Yo-yo, Brad After Hours. You got it.
Me gusta, me gusta.
And of course, you could also follow Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias At
Jonathan Elias TV on IG and Twitter.
And Belgium Kim?
At Belgium Kim on Facebook and Instagram.
All right. So with that, by the way, I don't know if you noticed or not, Donald Trump wants to end chain migration.
Yes.
He says, people who come with low skills, people who don't have college educations, they're a burden on America. And, reunifying family, that shouldn't really be a priority anymore. So Melania Trump realized the laws were going to change. So she quickly filed as a U.S. citizen's daughter for her uneducated parents from Slovenia.
Oh, wow.
And did exactly what Donald Trump has been screaming and yelling about on Twitter for the last 2 years that he wants to end.
So her parents live here.
Her parents now live here. Her parents, got a green card through the same exact way that Donald Trump says no one should get a green card anymore.
Wow.
The chain migration. And the reason is he says no one should be reunited with their families anymore, especially when you're bringing all these families in and they're low skilled, they can't do anything. So, Melania's father's from a small little town in Yugoslavia, now known as Slovenia. He was born in Yugoslavia. He was a chauffeur. He was a driver, basically a taxi driver. Okay. Melania's mother worked in a clothing factory.
Right.
Okay. They lived in government housing for textile workers before Melania's father was able to make enough money to afford a small little apartment for the family.
Wow.
Donald Trump described his father-in-law as pretty successful in 2016. Well, he was certainly successful in raising a wonderful family, but not successful education-wise, and certainly not successful financially.
Right.
So, given their dependence on government-subsidized housing, lack of any formal education, these were the exact immigrants that Donald Trump says he doesn't want to join their family members here.
Right.
Yet Melania, it's okay.
Right.
And not only are those immigrants here, they're living in the White House now.
They are?
Yes.
What?
That's
yes.
unbelievable.
Right. So much for chain migration.
This is
really,
insane.
really, it's chain migration, except if it's my own family,
Exactly.
then I'll be self-serving.
Then it's family reunification.
Then it's family reunification,
Right.
exactly. Meanwhile, Harvard Medical School came out, because Donald Trump now wants to, stop immigrants who collect, government medical assistance from ever becoming a citizen or being able to sponsor their relatives. We don't know if that's going to happen or not. We don't know.
Right.
It was just rumored in the papers. Nothing has come out yet. But Harvard Medical School just came out with a study. Just came out this week. It says for health expenditures are 52% lower for immigrants than for U.S. citizens. That means immigrants spend, on average, for their health care, 52% less than an American born in the United States of America.
Wow.
And they had some theories. One theory is that, people are coming in, they're younger. They don't need as much health care. I have a different theory, that a lot of immigrants come, they come from countries that they don't really get health care there. So, when they come here, they don't know to go to doctors and use doctors.
Right.
I mean, you think about your family, Jonathan, came from Africa. Okay, were they going to doctors every week in Africa?
No.
Right.
No.
So when they come here, would they, is that like pop in their head? They get a cold. I'm going to go to a doctor. No, they just suck it up.
Actually, my mom.
Right. They suck it up. Right.
Yeah, my mom
now,
almost died because she got so sick when she came in. She was like a size 0, and still didn't go to the doctor. She was just working.
And an American who's born here, they get a cold. They're like, ooh,
immediately,
I got a
right?
cold.
Yeah.
I better go to the doctor right away and get a Z-pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's exactly it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You come from Africa, you never even heard of a Z-pack.
Right.
No, yeah.
Right.
So what do you think, Brad Squad? What, Kim?
Yeah.
Can you start a poll?
I will.
Okay. What do you think? Why is it? Okay. Why is it that immigrants use less health care than Americans, yet Donald Trump is saying that they're bankrupting American health care, but they use 52% less?
Honestly, me growing up in my culture, my family barely took us to the doctor. I mean, they took us to the doctor as kids, but when it came to like medication and all that, they would only use like home remedies. Like, you know, it was all stuff that they made. When my mom was supposed to lose her leg after a dog bit her and like would not let go, and and my grandmother back in Africa took her to the doctor, and they said, we're gonna have to amputate it.
Right.
She said, give me my daughter. She went back home. She like put together all these leaves and stuff from the garden and all that, and she saved her leg.
Wow.
Now, my mom doesn't even have a limp.
Wow.
I just think that, you know, it's just a different mentality.
Yeah.
You know, coming from countries that don't have, you know, good health care, you're not going to use it.
Right.
Well, and having that kind of family support.
And you're a tougher person.
Absolutely.
And it makes you a tougher person.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, you know, I don't know if you saw the second half of Dr. Mona Atisha's. She was the woman last week on Friday, for those who missed it, who exposed the Flint water crisis.
Yes.
Okay, and she was talking about the mental health aspects of children being separated, the toxic stress on children being separated from their families. That is going to cause huge, if these children end up in the United States, huge medical bills in the future for the United States. But that was self-inflicted by Donald Trump.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, Stephen Miller.
Stephen Lurch.
Lurch. Lurch.
Rain.
It's the door.
You guys have both solid Lurch impressions.
It's the door.
Rain.
Morticia, somebody is there for you.
Look at the picture.
Stephen Lurch Miller. He is the man who is the architect behind this. There he is. He is the man who's the architect behind what will eventually be these regulations that prevent people from becoming citizens who, you know, who get like medical help for their U.S. citizen-born children. We'll see what happens with that. Meanwhile, his uncle, David Glasser, wrote in Politico, which is a big magazine online, that if it wasn't for immigration and the United States welcoming people running for their lives, Stephen Miller wouldn't be alive today. The Glasser family ran from Eastern Europe right before the Holocaust and was lucky enough to make it into America. Had America not taken them, they would have all perished in the Holocaust during World War II. Stephen Miller wouldn't be alive today. Glasser wrote that both Miller and Donald Trump have forgotten their roots, explaining, and I'm quoting from here, after all, Stephen is not the only family with a chain immigration story in the Trump administration. Trump's grandfather ran as a German migrant on the run from military conscription to a new life in the USA, and his mother fled the poverty of rural Scotland for the economic possibilities of New York. So Donald Trump's father ran from being conscripted into the German army, and the mother came from Scotland as a poor woman. Okay, how many people are running for their lives all over, whether it's conscription into an army that they don't want to fight for, or literally running from violence?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is more hypocrisy from that administration.
More hypocrisy.
Yep.
More hypocrisy. And I see that I saw here.
Yeah.
We don't have the cards here, but I saw, you know, that there's some ice. They found some ice on Mars. They found ice on Mars. Yeah, an Italian team of scientists said strong evidence of subsurface liquid water on Mars. And that came out around the same time that Donald Trump says he wants to spend $7 billion on Space Force. Did you see that?
Right,
Trump wants to make a Space Force. $7 billion he is going to spend to make a Space Force to protect America from aliens in space. I do have a card, but I don't see it here. So $7 billion to protect Americans from outer space.
Right.
We haven't been attacked from space yet, have we?
Not that I know
we know of.
Apparently, that's going to be followed up with a wall that he is going to build from Earth to Pluto to prevent any Martians from climbing over that wall and coming to Earth. That will be the Space Force's first military project.
He didn't even realize that depending on what angle you look at, it could be just
I don't know if you want to be on the north side of the wall or the left side of the or the west side of the wall. But there will be a wall from the Earth to Pluto. It will be a big, shiny wall that no Martians will ever be able to climb over.
Is Pluto even a planet anymore?
It is not.
Pluto is not a planet anymore. And that is why Trump will not be able to build his wall, because he said the wall will go from across all the planets. What he forgot is that Pluto is no longer a planet. Pluto is a runaway moon or a runaway asteroid or something, apparently, right?
Yeah, it's a
star now?
It's a star.
Something.
Like that.
All right, so how many shares we got, Jonathan and Belgium Kim?
Yeah, let's see.
Let's double check and do a little
65 shares.
65 shares.
It's lovely.
low.
Great job, guys. Great job, Brad Squad.
Very
it's like we're putting on a show for
sarcastic.
nobody here. 65 shares. Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias, Belgium Kim.
Yeah.
Go tell everybody what they get for 700 shares.
Ooh, do we know what we get for 700 shares? Did we decide? Are we, can I do the one that I really
Give
want?
the honors.
You can do it.
Yeah?
Do whatever you want.
Okay, you guys.
I will allow Belgium Kim and Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias to come up with any prize that they want.
Oh.
We have not discussed this ahead of time. I do not know what they will say.
No.
What is the prize?
We have the power.
And by the way, it's not me writing a check to somebody, okay?
I was going to say write a check to me.
It's not me, right? Yes. If you get to 700 shares, Belgium Kim will get a raise to $1 million a year.
Wow.
That's a great share.
Yes.
No, if you get to 700 shares, I really loved our Friday share game. It seemed to get people excited, and Brad said that he has a manly tickle face. So I want to see Brad get tickled
by
for
the entire Brad Show staff. The entire staff will come.
The entire team.
The entire team, yes.
Oh, yeah.
For 20 seconds.
Yo, absolutely. I will.
I don't know if Jonathan wants to be joining on that one. I don't think I want Jonathan on that one either.
I'll record.
How about the female staff members?
There you go.
Nope, that doesn't count. Muta Ali needs to get in there and tickle.
No, please.
Jonathan is going to be tickling.
No. That's just a little too weird.
Right.
That's a little too weird. Jonathan's like, I'm out of here. Goodbye.
Brad, I will be so happy to me and Jill.
Nobody
can
wants to
double
see
team
that.
and tickle.
Nobody
So
Really?
700 shares.
Nobody wants to see that.
You guys don't want to see the tickle?
I can
you guys
tell
are
you
crazy.
that. I can tell you that. But if
saying
everybody on the show would budge me, they would be
sharing
they'd be sharing up.
We'd be at 800 already.
Yes. Oh, wait a second. We have a better game.
Whoa.
David Gabriel says 700 shares, and he will take Belgium Kim on a date. And Brad Show Live.
City Island, is that like where all the seafood is?
That's where all the seafood is.
All right.
Well, how about wait. We got to ask now, Brad Squad. Would you rather see me tickled, or would you rather have the cameras follow David Gabriel and Belgium Kim on a date to City Island?
And Belgium Kim has no say in this whatsoever.
Absolutely not.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Listen, if I get seafood out of it, quite frankly, 700 shares is fine.
And Jeff Bosey wants to know what the hell happened. We only have 8 planets now. Jill, how about this? 700 shares, we named Pluto back a planet. No.
Wait, do we have that power?
No, we don't.
Okay.
But Pluto is not a dwarf planet. I believe, Joe whispered in my ear, but I believe that Pluto is now considered an asteroid. It's no longer a planet.
Asteroid, yeah.
Right?
I typed in Pluto is what?
What is it?
And Wikipedia says Pluto is a dwarf planet in the Kuiper Belt, a ring of bodies beyond.
I don't believe it's a planet.
I thought it wasn't a planet anymore.
I thought they came back and said it was not a planet.
But a dwarf planet is different than a regular planet.
I don't know. With that being said,
yeah,
I have no idea if we'll even get to 200 shares today. I don't even know what people are getting. They're getting to see me tickled, Kim on a date.
Velma said, I'd rather follow them on camera on a date.
Yes, I think so. I think that's a good one.
And me in the background, because I think that's a good one.
If I get lobster out of this, that's totally fine.
I think that's a good one. Kim and David on a date. That's what they want. Kim and David, there it is.
And me in the background, like I said, because I want some seafood.
Yes, Jonathan's going as a chaperone.
Yeah.
We don't know who this David is. We've never met them. We met David. We don't know him.
We have not met David.
Well, we need a chaperone. There'll be a chaperone, Kim. Don't worry.
Thanks. We're a little worried about my safety.
Jonathan will go on a date with David Gabriel.
Perfect.
And Jonathan will chaperone.
No, Kim will go on a date with David Gabriel, and I will chaperone. You said Jonathan would.
Yeah, that's true. You gotta flip it.
Right.
I'll go on a date with David. You will chaperone.
It's like when you go on. It's like when Jonathan's going on a date with Marge Higgs and Belgium Kim is chaperoning.
There you go.
Right? We still have to set that one up, right?
Go.
That's true. That's true. But ooh, is that a date with Grandma? That could be a date with Grandma. I could just be sitting in the corner not saying
No,
much.
it was
both of you.
given as both of us.
Okay. Man, I cannot believe how many people co-signed.
Everybody says date.
Okay.
There you got it.
700 shares.
All right, Jonathan and Belgium Kim, you take it away. What do you get for 700 shares today?
All right, guys, 700 shares. You guys will get the up close and personal date night with Belgium Kim and David, and I will be in the background like just hiding like this, eating my crab legs. All right.
We have taken the beautiful Belgium Kim. All right, and we are so desperate for 700 shares. We are sending her out on dates with men.
David, you better make sure that this happens, brother. If you want this
we are pimping Belgium Kim out.
700 shares.
So tell them how you can share then.
All right, guys, if you want to see me go on a date with David Gabriel and eat some delicious lobster, hit that arrow. It's at the top or the bottom of your comments, depending on what you're looking at, and share it onto your own page, share it onto groups pages, share it on your friends' personal timelines, share it to everyone and everything you know. Let them know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
There you have it.
You know what David Gabriel saying? He's going, yeah, boy.
Right.
Yeah, boy. Let me go. He's starting to do some push-ups already. He's getting ready for his date. He's doing about 20 push-ups. Right? He's gonna come all pumped up.
David, I hope you're ready. I am not easy to please. Okay,
No.
I'm a high-maintenance date.
That's right. You're not going for just like a drink and a cocktail in a bar.
No.
Right? You're sitting down for like lobster. You're going to City Island. You're getting like the whole lobster thing.
Hungry.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some like mussels and clams.
Yeah.
Right?
Ooh, I want a tub full of garlic butter next to me as I dip everything into the tub.
Right, and Belgium Kim, she doesn't do no cheap $3 beer.
No.
She's going for the high-end wine.
I'm going, a whole bottle.
A whole bottle.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Okay, David. Let's see. Let's do this. Oh my
right,
God.
and then about an hour and a half into it, David's gonna be saying, "Hey, yo, scam, get the hell out of here."
I'm gonna be like, for show with my crab legs.
See, this is why he's not a good chaperone.
That's not a good chaperone. You're supposed to say, "Stay, no, I'm staying."
He's gonna abandon me for some crab legs.
Come on, Yo-Yo. How do you abandon? Yo-Yo takes the bucket of crab legs and leaves. He's like, "All right, if you want me to." Hey, come on.
We'll develop a code. I'll be like, blink once means yes, blink twice means get the hell out of here.
As I sit there with a big old bib and crab legs.
Kim's gonna be calling me like, Yo-Yo left. I'm here with David. He took the whole bucket with him.
David, I am a very easy person to bribe, all right?
The worst chaperone of all time.
Between you and me, brother.
Cece had a great question. She said, who's paying for the date?
David said he was paying for it.
David's paying for the date.
Didn't he say it was his idea?
He said, let me take you to City Island.
Right. It wasn't let me take you to City Island on Brad's credit card. I didn't see that.
No.
You should have said that, brother.
You should have said that because you probably would have gotten it anyway, but...
Closed mouths don't get fed, which is why I'm going.
Do you know I've never been to City Island?
Me either. That's what I'm saying.
I've never actually been there. I heard it's fun.
So both of us could go
We're going to go chaperone.
There we go.
And Yo-Yo will be like, all right, she's fine, let's go.
Nice
We're
and
good,
full.
we saw it.
You guys are the worst.
95 shares. Keep it going, guys.
Oh my God, we're
Keep it
so
going.
fast.
All right, so we got to get, all right, so what did we cover so far? For anybody who came in late, we covered your show.
We covered my show.
We covered Melania got her parents here. So much for chain migration.
Yep.
What else did we cover?
We covered
Omarosa.
And then Brad after show.
Brad after show on YouTube. So please make sure you watch that. We covered follow, subscribe to YouTube at Brad Show.
Yep.
Like and follow here. Kim's going with David Gabriel on a date if we get to 700 shares.
Yeah.
There's going to be a space force, and they're going to build a wall from here to Pluto. We don't know to keep the aliens out.
Perfect.
Right? There's a lot of aliens in space, undesirable aliens we don't want in America.
Thank God Donald Trump's going to keep them
He's going to
at bay.
build that wall.
I feel
Space
safe.
Force will be building a wall.
I feel so safe.
From the Earth to Pluto. No illegal aliens from outer space coming to America.
Right. Those are the only kind of illegal aliens that exist.
That's right. That is exactly it. And by the way, I think I would be in favor of a wall from here to Pluto if they're going to keep the aliens from space out.
I mean, imagine the jobs it would create.
That's right. We'd have to hire a lot of Mexicans and Jamaicans to do that, right?
Boom for the economy.
Yes.
That's real.
So, we ready to get into our show?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, should we start?
Yes, let's do it. You got answers with questions with immigration. We're going to be answering them right now. Call 1-800-529-5465. This is actually shows all about immigration. Not all about immigration. It's about having fun. It's about education. But it's also about trying to help as many people as we can. Alexander, who's been waiting in Panama City for 45 patient minutes for his immigration question. Alexander.
Yeah, hello. I'm calling to find out. I'm doing well. Calling to find out about the RFE.
RFE, a request for further evidence.
Right. So what it's saying, it's like saying that the sponsor, the joint sponsor, did not meet the amount.
Right.
For the 125%. So I was wondering if, like, could a house that suddenly that she's paying mortgage for the use as an asset to make all the difference?
You can, but it depends what the value of the house is and how much is still owed. So you would have to prove the value of the house, which would be based on the tax rolls, what the local government says your house is worth based on tax rolls, and then how much mortgage you have, and you get 20% of the actual equity in the house to use towards it.
Okay.
So let's say for example, I don't know, I'm making this up. Your house is worth $500,000. And you have you owe $400,000 to the bank. So you have equity of $100,000. If you're able to prove that, you will get to add $20,000, which is 20% of $100,000, onto your taxable income for that particular year. Let's say your taxable income is $20,000, and you have $100,000 in equity in the home. You get 20% of that equity. That's another $20,000. So then your income for being above the poverty level would be $40,000. That's how it works.
Okay. And the next question, does evidence of assets, it has to be like all the listed things like bank statements, evidence of ownership of other stuff. Or it's just like...
Well, if you just show a bank statement for 1 month, they're going to kick it back. Okay. All right. So my opinion would be the easiest thing in the world is find a second person to give an affidavit of support who makes a better income.
Okay.
That would be, it's so much easier than showing assets.
Okay.
All right. But
I got you.
All right. And if you need help, hold on 1 second. All right. 1-800-529-5465. We got a whole bunch of empty lines right now. I promise you, if you call in the next 5 minutes, I will answer your immigration question live on the air. You will not be put on hold forever because we're going through questions right now. Let's go to Elaine in the Bronx.
Hello, Brad. Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Good. I have a question for you. I have 2 grandchildren in Jamaica, age 10 and 11, and their father is an American citizen living in Florida. But the problem is, he's on parole. He was arrested for marijuana, and he was sentenced in Florida, but now he's on parole up until December of this year. Can he file for them?
Absolutely.
But he's not working. He said he don't have a job.
Then you would give an affidavit. Someone else has to give an affidavit of support, but he can certainly file, but you're going to need an affidavit of support from a second person.
Okay, so can the person that gives the affidavit of support lives in New York?
Yeah, they could live anywhere in the United States.
Okay, and how long does that take?
About a year.
Okay, and quickly, what documents you need other than the I-130?
Well, it all depends. Was he ever married to the mother?
No.
All right.
Yeah, he was married to the mother, but not when the children were born.
Before the children were born.
No, after.
That's fine. As long as he married the mother, that's fine. So then the children are legitimated. He just has to show biological relationship between him and the children.
Okay, but they're separated though, so.
That's fine. Doesn't matter. As long as the marriage.
Okay.
So the marriage certificate and proof that he's the father, which would be the birth certificates and his name added at the time of the birth.
Yeah.
All right. And worst comes to worst, they may ask for a blood test. If they do, you do it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
But we can certainly help. Hold on one second, Elaine. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I think you're going to need help. Hold on. Let's go to Jody in Sandy, Utah. Jody.
Hi, can you hear me?
I do.
Okay, I have a question for you guys.
Go ahead.
I came from Jamaica on a B1, B2 visa, and I've overstayed. I think it's almost a year and 6 months. So I was wondering, what can I do to fix my status, or is it possible for me to go to school? What can I do?
Well, if you came on a visitor's visa and you overstayed your time, trying to get a different non-immigrant visa is almost going to be impossible, simply because whatever you would have to do, you would have to go back home to get. And if you went back home and you've overstayed by more than 1 year, you would have a 10-year bar. So getting a student visa, getting a work visa, that's all basically done. Now the question becomes, okay, you've overstayed, you're a year and a half into being an overstay here, you got to figure out how you're going to get a green card. Is it going to be through family? Is it going to be through employment? That's really the ways you got to start thinking about it. Now, how you're going to get a green card, what processes to go through, that would require a consultation. I could help you. We're not going to be able to go through it here on the show because it's going to take 15, 20 minutes. But hold on one second, okay? But that's what you have to start thinking about. Let's go to Sandra in Flint, Michigan. Sandra.
Hey, Brad. How are you?
How you doing? We just had Dr. Atish on. Are you familiar with her? She was the one who exposed the Flint water crisis.
Oh, I saw about it on Fight on the News.
Yeah.
Not too familiar with it, though.
Yeah. How's the water there now, by the way?
Oh, it's super hot today.
No, not the weather, the water. We've been talking about water in Flint, Michigan all last week.
Oh, water.
Yeah.
I think they said the water is pretty good now, but we still don't trust it.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust they either. Do the bottled water. Do the bottled water. And we just had the doctor on, Dr. Mona, who exposed all of this, and she said the water is not good.
Oh, okay.
All right, so be very careful. What can I do to help you today?
All right, I have a question. It's actually two questions, rather. My husband filed for my son. He's under 16, under 18. He was in Jamaica, right? That was in February this year. We got a letter today saying that it has been approved. The I-130 has been approved. But the thing is, my son came up a week ago, and I wasn't planning on sending him back, to be honest.
Okay. How old is he?
Could we adjust status seeing that this has already been approved, or would it be better for him to go back home and to Jamaica and have it? He's 16.
If he stays here more than 90 days, you can put an adjustment in, but you should use an attorney's help because I don't want you to have a misrepresentation issue.
I didn't get that. I'm sorry.
If you put an adjustment right now, he will have a misrepresentation issue because he entered the United States and then filed for his green card 30 days later, and they're going to say you intended to get a green card. So you got to wait at least 90 days before you file an adjustment. And I would also suggest you have an attorney to assist you so that there's no misrepresentation issues.
Okay. Another question, though. If it's a case where we proceed and have him go back home to Jamaica, would it be completed within that 30 days, within that 90 days, or would it take longer than that?
If you go back to Jamaica, it's going to be about 6-7 months.
I don't know why I'm not hearing you clearly, Brad.
Well, hold on one second. It's going to take 6-7 months if he goes back to Jamaica. Hold on one second. I think he's going to need help. Let's go to Tamika in Chicago, Illinois. Tamika. Tamika.
Hello.
Hi, Tamika.
Hi, Brad. What I was looking at is I was looking at the visa bulletin for September, which came out a couple of days ago, and I realized there are almost none of the categories moved.
Mm-hmm.
For September, but there were two that instead of moving forward, they moved backwards. So I was wondering if it was an error or it can happen.
It can happen, and the reason it happens is this. September is the last month of the year for the government. So, when you think of the government, you think they work January to January, but the government actually works October to October. That's the government year. So the visa list there's a waiting list. They only say, for example, they give 22,000 some odd green cards to unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizens. So what happened is they've reached the limit. They've reached that 22,000. That's why nothing has moved. So come October, you're going to see everything pop up again because there's going to be another 600,000 green cards available. So it's not an error that it went backwards. It went backwards because they probably have reached the limit on the amount of green cards by law that they're allowed to issue. Because this is the last
in that particular category.
Right, because September is the last month of the government year. You'll see in October it'll pop back up again simply because there's now a new set of green cards available.
Oh, so chances are October would probably it would probably start moving a little faster.
Correct. So it always moves faster from October to May and always slows down June through September.
Oh, okay. So if I file for, say, my spouse and his priority date is like August 25th, maybe by October I should be hearing something.
Are you a resident?
I am.
Okay, well, they're right now up to July 22nd, 2016, if I'm looking at this
right,
properly.
and he's August 25th, 2016.
Oh, I see, yes. So everything's approved and at the National Visa Center?
Yes. Actually, we're just waiting on an interview
okay,
date.
Fine. So my guess is that his interview would most likely be December, January, sometime over the winter. He'll be here.
Whoa. Yeah. That's far, though.
Yeah, because October, they're not going to schedule it. It'll be November, December.
Okay.
That's when you should expect it.
All right. No problem. Thank you.
All right. Good luck. All right. Let's go to Shireen in Kingston, Jamaica. Shireen.
Hello.
Hi, Shireen.
Hi. How are you, Brad?
Good. What's going on?
Okay. So my husband filed for me, and but I went in with misrepresentation. Long story short, I was arrested in 2006, and we didn't tell them that I was arrested. So I lied.
Why were you arrested for?
For fraudulent documents, false visa.
A false visa.
So,
a visa to get to the United States, and you were arrested in Jamaica with that?
Yes, I was arrested in Jamaica with that.
And let me I mean, and obviously the U.S. would have known about that.
Right. So I was advised by a lawyer that said it's okay, you know, I didn't have to disclose it because I have gotten an expungement. I wasn't in the U.S.
I don't know what you spoke to an idiot. You didn't speak to a lawyer because you have to always say every arrest. So whoever told you that's an idiot. Now, when did you get denied?
I got Right, so I got denied. They approved it, but once they go through the process, it was denied.
You need a waiver.
All right, so we went in. Yes, I needed a waiver. So
why would you go? Let me ask you a question. Why would you go back to the same idiot who told you to lie, who gave you the worst freaking advice in the history of immigration law?
No, we use a different lawyer.
Oh, you did? Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, good.
We use a different lawyer to file the waiver. He was the person who advised us rightly.
Right, okay,
so
good.
we did use a different lawyer to do the waiver process. Okay, so we wait on the waiver. The waiver was like 13 months.
And you got denied?
Now I went in, yes, I got approved.
The waiver?
And I went in for the waiver was approved after 13 months.
Good.
So now I was told, go do your medical, so on, and then they call and said, come in for the oath, right? Because remember, I went through the interview and everything. Now I went in for the oath. They didn't give me the visa again. They're asking for the approval letter from NSCIS.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, in order for us to continue processing your case, you need to send us the approval letter.
Yeah, well,
is that normal for them to do though?
No, they're just yanking your chain around because they're looking to come up with reasons to not give you the green card after you got approved on your waiver. So I would suggest you get a lawyer who is adept at speaking to the U.S. Embassy and straightening it out.
Right, because right now it's been almost 2 weeks and we haven't heard anything from them, and they are on the scan the waiver letter to their website, and they send us a confirmation stating yes, they have received it, and we haven't heard anything from them.
Okay, and the answer is, which I will repeat again, you need a lawyer who is very adept at speaking to the U.S. Embassy and straightening this out. You may be waiting forever.
Okay.
Got it? So,
got it.
You're talking to a lawyer who is adept at it. Take my advice. Hold on. So, adept.
Adept lawyers.
Adept lawyers.
Maybe with 25 years of experience.
Perhaps.
Maybe who's done this tens of thousands of times.
Perhaps.
Just throwing it out there.
Just maybe.
Maybe who hosts his own show where he offers free immigration advice
I don't know who to call.
out of the kindness of his heart.
I don't know what I should do. What should I do?
I think you should stay on the line.
Stay on the line.
Because you already called. I was going to say call. You already did that.
Right.
Consultation.
As Mishka Bose adeptly says.
Yeah.
Lady, let your husband cry, bread.
Yeah.
Velma said these people need a lick and kick.
A lick and kick.
A lick and kick.
All right. What are we doing?
You tell me.
Oh, it's my show.
It is your show. It's called Brad Show Live. You tell me, Brad Show.
All right, it's my show. We have social media.
Yeah.
Absolutely, we have.
All right, so we're going to do a little social media now.
Mm-hmm.
So we can, and then we're going to come back at 7:30. We're going to shut the lights off.
Yeah.
Turn them back on.
Yeah.
And we're going to see you all on the flip side at YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
for Brad Show After Hours.
Come join us.
Is that what we called it?
After Hours, and then you said After Show after we decided
What is
After
the name
Hours.
of the show?
Brad After Hours.
Brad After Hours. That's what we're going to do on YouTube. Brad After Hours. But in the meantime,
yeah.
Social media check-in. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We're not going to do it. Because of technical problems, we can answer the questions.
Yeah.
We just can't do anything fancy.
We can even ask the questions.
You can ask the questions. That's fine.
We can.
Let's do it. What rap song was that?
Ole, do it.
No, it's
that's
let's do.
No. Is that Tone Loc?
No, it's
from
not
the 80s.
I don't.
Who does Let's Do It?
I know.
It starts off that way. Let's do it.
And it's what is that? That's not the Tootsie Roll.
I don't know. All right, social media check-in. Let's go.
All right. We have one from YouTube. Azaroth. Bezekiel. I like that name. All right. Can someone with a TN visa adjust their status through job sponsorship? EB-31-140 approved. Current priority date. Thank you.
If you're in status, yes. Or if you haven't overstayed by more than 180 days, yes. Or if you're 245I, yes. One of those three situations, the answer is yes. If not, the answer is no.
Marva said, what are the procedures if a citizen wants to file for a child over 21 who is living in the U.S.?
File an I-130. Wait. Continue to wait. Wait some more. Years go by of waiting.
Right.
The sun goes around, or the earth goes around the sun like 7 times. That long of waiting.
Uh-huh.
And then your son may be eligible for a green card, but you would have to do a provisional waiver. He would have to go home and come back.
All right, we got Kool-Aid on YouTube.
Kool-Aid on YouTube.
Kool-Aid. What flavor? What's your favorite?
Grape.
That's a pretty good flavor.
Grape.
No, cherry.
Yeah,
Cherry's not
I
a
like
good flavor.
red.
Red.
That's what we
Red.
call it. We just say red.
I have no idea. Is that strawberry, cherry, raspberry, watermelon?
Grape.
Red is my favorite. That's weird.
I'm an ape.
All right, Kool-Aid asks, if my removal proceeding is terminated without prejudice, what does it mean? I also heard that USCIS issued a memo saying if you commit fraud, misrepresentation, they will now issue you an NTA.
Without prejudice means that they have the right to put you back in deportation if they want to charge you with a deportable offense.
Nero Richards on Instagram wants to know, I only have my passport as proof of citizenship. Will it be trouble to renew it?
No.
All right. Paulette Clark Knights asks, hi, Brad, if someone has citizenship through their parents, can they get married to a non-immigrant?
Citizenship through their parents. Can they marry a non-immigrant? Yes. They can marry an immigrant. Yes. You can marry another citizen. Yes. You can marry whoever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're a citizen. You want to file for the non-immigrant? By all means, you're a citizen. Go file for them.
Jacqueline on YouTube said, how can I check my status to make sure my status is still in good standing? And also, what happens after obtaining the green card through marriage?
Why would your status not be in good standing?
Well,
There's nothing to check. There's no place to check. But why would your status not be in good standing?
Why is she questioning
Why is she questioning this?
Jacqueline.
I don't know.
Tell her. Oh, she said, forgot to put at the end of my comment what happens after obtaining a green card through marriage, and I was divorced before my conditions were removed.
Then you have to file to remove the conditions based on a bona fide marriage and prove you're divorced.
All right, Terry Ann Carby on YouTube says, asking for a friend. She is married to an American citizen who has been locked up for 25 years for a robbery. He is also on disability right now. Can he petition for his wife for a green card?
Yes, but if he's locked up for 20 years.
25.
And it's going to be very hard to prove a bona fide marriage. But yeah, you can try.
Vanish Beckford on YouTube said, I submitted my daughter's I-130 in November of last year. How much longer do I have to wait for the I-130 to be approved? Her priority date is November 7th of 2017.
How long do you have to wait?
Yeah.
Should be coming before the end of this year.
Okay, Bellicose 100 times.
Bellicose 100 times, that's the name?
Yes, on YouTube.
What do you think that means?
Bellicose.
Bellicose is angry or fighting.
So super duper duper angry?
Super duper angry, 100 times over?
Yeah, just like a livid human being.
I better be nice to this guy and answer his question then.
All right, so just wanted to ask. Oh, I'm not supposed to read it like that?
Yes.
Just wanted to ask, how would the new USCIS policy of rejecting cases without RFE and issuing NTAs after rejection would affect existing cases that were filed before the policy went into effect?
Still going to happen. You should have lawyers handling every case. I mean, if that's not a reason to hire a lawyer, I don't know what is.
Stacey Ann Robinson.
Because, by the way, how many times do we hear, I got a letter back, an RFE back? We get that every day.
Every single day.
By the way, you're not going to be getting those letters back anymore. You're going to get a letter saying you're in deportation.
Woo.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's...
By the way, apparently nobody wants to see you go on a date with David Gabriel. There's only 101 shares. Why? He would have been a fun time.
That would have been a fun time. I would have been very excited about the crab legs, I gotta be honest.
What about David?
Because I don't know David, but I can count on crab legs. Crab legs have never let me down. Right. Men every day. Stacey Ann said, I have a family member who is 19 years old and her dad filed for her. Her dad is a citizen. Could she become an automatic citizen through her dad?
If she's under 18, she has a green card, she's living with her U.S. citizen father, and the U.S. citizen father has both legal and physical custody of her, the answer is yes. Jonathan, you seem tired today.
Wow.
Are you tired?
Wow. No.
Called him out.
I'm not calling you out.
Yeah, you are.
I didn't call you out. I'm just asking.
I feel like I had a lot of energy.
You got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Good.
Also, you look tired is never a compliment.
Right.
Like, oh my God, you are looking tired. No one ever looks really good when they look tired.
Jonathan, you look very handsome and dapper today.
Jeez.
You must be getting a lot of sleep lately.
You look so well rested.
You look very well rested, Jonathan.
Dang.
Dang.
That's a dang.
That's a damn.
No, that's a dang.
That's a dang. Why you call me out?
Right.
Here I am, so nice to you, Brad, right?
Right.
Never say anything mean, ever.
Ever.
I was just asking. You seemed a little...
No, I'm great.
You're good?
I'm great.
Sheesh.
Boy.
Well, Princess is waiting for her response now. So Princess asks, I have a friend who got her work permit and 2 patrol letters. Can she go out the country without a green card?
Parole, the answer is yes. Advanced parole, not patrol, I assume.
Okay,
Right.
it said.
Yeah, patrol, I understand.
So it's parole.
Parole.
Okay.
Yes.
Jacqueline has a follow-up question. She said, but what if my time to file to remove the conditions is already passed for over a year now?
Then you're going to need to put a request in for them to accept a late application. You have to have a really good excuse why, and hopefully they'll accept it. If not, they'll issue you an NTA. You're here illegally. You go see a judge, and then as long as you can prove that you are divorced and it was a real marriage, the judge will terminate the proceedings, and then you go back to immigration and then file your late application a second time.
That sounds...
Again, need a lawyer.
I was just about to say, that seems like an incredibly involved process.
Yes.
I'll buy your loan.
All right, so 2 more questions. We got to move on.
All right. We got Coco Al asking for a friend. If you came to the U.S. as a child refugee and got a criminal record after 5 years of living in the U.S., can that person apply for a U.S. citizenship or renew the 10-year green card?
You said that with so much energy. Say that again, because it was just like it hit me in the face.
My God. Will the shade never end?
I gave you a compliment
That was
now.
so much energy. Just blew me away. Your white
Give me
teeth
a flashlight.
Actually, I was just reading you in caps. You're like, Brad just calling me out.
Yeah, right. So I'm about to say everything with a bunch of energy.
I mean, that one just blew me right in the face there.
Somebody please give me a
what was that question again now?
All right, so asking for a friend. If you came to the U.S. as a child refugee and got a criminal record after 5 years of living in the U.S., can that person apply for a U.S. citizenship or renew the 10-year?
It depends what the criminal conviction was for. Need a little more info there.
So I know if it was like drugs,
you got a problem. You're not going to become a citizen.
Right.
You can become deportable. Now they may order you deported, but give you withholding of removal if it's dangerous for you to go back. That's a whole other story.
And I've got one final question from Josie Edward, who said, if your husband filed in November of last year for you and you got your work permit, how long does it take to get your interview?
It should take about a year from the time you start to finish. It's going on a year now. Okay. All right, so let's do this. We got Marie and Ashley on hold, waiting a while. Marie from Boston. Marie, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Brad?
Good. What's going on?
I have a marriage case, and I went to an interview. I married a U.S. citizen, and he filed for me back in October last year.
Right.
I went to the interview August 2nd. So 2 days later, I received the first letter said that the I-9, I think I-130 was approved.
Great.
And 2 days later, I received another letter said they administratively closed the case.
That's weird. Why did that happen?
I didn't understand that.
Why would they do that?
When I went to speak with someone, he told me that I had another case that was from my previous marriage that my ex-husband had filed for asylum, and that case was never settled. They closed it because we had another case.
Maybe because you can't adjust your status if you have a pending political asylum case. That's what happened. So you have to withdraw. Unfortunately for you, you will have to withdraw the asylum case, and then after your adjustment is administratively closed, make a motion to administratively open it to complete it.
And that's going to take a while?
That will take a while. You need, this is why you have lawyers. If you have good lawyers, this shouldn't happen. All right, so hold on one second. Let's go to Ashley in Miami, Florida. Ashley.
Hi, Brad.
How you doing, Ashley?
I'm doing good, and yourself?
Wonderful, Ashley.
Okay, my question is, I filed for my husband, and I was checking online that his case is scheduled for an interview. First question is, how long does it take for them to send out an interview date? And the next question is, he hasn't received his work permit yet.
How long did you file? How long ago did you file for him?
I filed for him in January of this year.
Well, did he get fingerprinted?
Yes, he already got fingerprinted and everything.
He should have gotten his work permit. 8 months is way too long, so you're doing something wrong. I don't know what, but something's amiss.
Okay. They did send, he was missing the I-30A form. I signed out the I-30 form, and then they sent me saying I had to fill out the I-30A form.
When did you do that?
I did that like last month, July.
Okay,
they sent for
so
evidence.
in essence, you cost your husband 7 months of waiting. So until you completed the adjustment, your case was sitting in a mailroom somewhere. Now, hopefully, you completed it in July. Count about 4 to 5 months from the time you completed the case in July before he gets his work permit, and he won't get his interview till next summer.
Okay, so he won't get his interview till next month?
Summer, in a year from now.
Till next summer.
Because when you filed the papers, you didn't do it right. So if it wasn't done right, it basically just sits there until you do it right.
Okay.
So that's what happened, unfortunately.
Okay, all right.
So you should get his work. He'll get his work permit at the end of the year, and he should get an interview for his green card next summer.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Dion in Brooklyn, New York. Dion.
Hi, good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. So I did my green card interview last year, October.
Right.
And I haven't received anything from immigration. I got the letter after the interview they said they're going to send my case to review. And my work permit expired, and I sent it in from January to renew, and I haven't get it. But my job entails me to travel, like internationally. Can I go in for InfoPass to get a stamp in my passport to travel?
Well, no,
with my boss?
They're not going to give you a stamp. You got to apply for advanced parole because you haven't been approved yet.
Oh, to travel internationally, like to go to Europe?
You need advanced parole.
So how long could I stay out of the country on the advanced parole?
Not more than 2 weeks at a time.
Huh?
Like 2 weeks at a time, 1 week at a time. It's for short trips.
Oh, it's going to be longer, so maybe I can't even go.
Well, maybe you want to have a conversation with us, so hold on 1 second, okay? All right. With that being said, Jonathan and Belgium Kim.
Yes.
Jonathan's mad at me.
What?
You mad at me? I feel Jonathan's mad at me.
Why?
I don't know.
Take me to City Island.
Yes. You know what?
Actually, I am mad.
You know what? We're just going to take Kim to City Island ourselves.
Yeah.
Forget
tonight.
David Gabriel. We're at
we
120 shares. He's not. David Gabriel is not. He didn't even probably share once.
Actually, can we go tonight?
By the way, when David Gabriel found out he had to pay, he probably stopped sharing.
Right. Probably been.
You know, I just looked on his page.
people.
It's not even on his own page.
Yes, right.
So he's like, no.
So on Friday, we wanted to talk about Paul Manafort, and we started to, and then we had computer issues. And as a result of the computer issues, we weren't able to finish our discussion about Paul Manafort. But I had Carmela Waldron, who's our tax attorney, and Paul Hirsch, who's our criminal defense attorney here at Spar Bernstein, talking about the Manafort trial. Now, we're going to talk about the Manafort trial, but I want everyone to remember, after we're done, we're going to say our goodbyes, but we're going to come back. We're going to shut the lights off, and we're going to come back on YouTube after hours. So please subscribe to YouTube at Brad Show to make sure that we can finish our show with you on YouTube for after hours if you want to watch us. But in the meantime, let's watch our conclusion of the Paul Manafort trial with my discussion with Carmela and Paul Hirsch. The tax fraud case against former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort, it's in its 7th day in United States District Court in Alexandria, Virginia. This is the first case to be tried by special counsel Robert Mueller. It's focusing on Manafort's business dealings prior to him joining the Trump team as campaign manager. Here to discuss the trial, break it down, because it is a tax fraud and a criminal case. It is very serious offense. We have our fantastic managing attorney of our tax department, Carmela Waldron, and our managing attorney of our criminal defense department, equally as fantastic, Paul Hirsch. Paul, Carmela, welcome.
Thank you.
So Carmela, let's break this down. he is being charged with tax fraud. What is tax fraud?
Underreporting your income to the IRS.
So, Paul, what would be the charges if you're underreporting income to the IRS? What would be the charges brought against you?
It's a 32-count indictment, and it stems from hiding or evading taxes on about $30 million in overseas income.
So, Carmela, let me ask you a question. He's being charged or being accused of hiding more than $30 million in income internationally. What are the rules for declaring income? Because we have a lot of people who live in America and are immigrants and get income from all over the world. What are the rules for declaring income if you are a U.S. citizen or a lawful permanent resident? If you earn income in another country, what are the rules for declaring that income in the United States on your tax return?
Sure. Under the FBAR rules, if you have more than $10,000 in a foreign bank account anytime during the year, you must report that to the IRS.
So is he being charged or being accused of anything else other than the $30 million that he refused or that he neglected or purposely refused, intentionally refused to declare on his taxes?
Well, he's also charged with tax fraud because he vastly underreported his income.
So those are two different separate charges, Paul, is that correct?
Yes, there's many charges. Not only those, but also for lying to banks in order to get loans.
So that's why you get one indictment and multiple charges,
correct,
is that correct?
Correct.
And the indictment would be just one. Tell us what an indictment is versus what charges are.
Sure.
Because some people don't know.
Sure. An indictment is what the government brings forth and charges you with a crime.
Right.
And in that indictment is the separate and distinct charges that the government accuses you of doing.
So what is he looking at? If he's been indicted in Virginia, he's looking at multiple charges against him. If he is found guilty on all charges, how long is he going to jail for?
Decades.
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 Basically, he's going to die in jail.
Decades, unless he lives to about 100, yes. He's facing decades and financial penalties.
Right, so I guess he's in his 40s or 50s. Yeah, I mean, decades would be 20, 30 years in jail.
Somewhere in that range.
Right,
yes.
so the rest of his life basically in jail.
It certainly seems that way.
They've brought out the accountant who got immunity, and the accountant said that Manafort was cooking the books. They brought out Gates, who was his partner and deputy campaign manager of the Trump campaign. He also got immunity. He also pled guilty to criminal charges, and he's being cross-examined about what his involvement is in the scheme that he pled guilty to, as well as some other extramarital affairs that he may or may not have had with other women while he was married. Why, as a defense attorney, would Manafort's attorneys be doing this, and how do you think this is all going to play out?
Well, they're attacking not only what happened, but this individual's credibility. If they can destroy his credibility to the jurors, they may not believe Gates. They may not believe when he says that Manafort colluded with him and told him to do X, Y, and Z. They may conclude that Gates did it on his own.
So what do the prosecutors have? What is the burden that the prosecutors have to reach to prove their case?
Well, each count has separate and distinct elements. They have to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the standard in a criminal prosecution, whether federal or state. It's a high standard, as it should be. And the district attorney's office has to prove every element of every charge beyond a reasonable doubt. Why
would the U.S. attorney be carrying on about his $15,000 leather jacket that we read about in the news all the time, all his fancy suits? Is that just to paint him as a bad guy? What is the purpose of that he bought a brownstone in Brooklyn for $3 million in cash? What is the purpose of doing that from the U.S. attorney's perspective?
Well, because on his taxes, he claimed he made X amount of money. And based on his purchases, his lifestyle, you can't possibly purchase those items if you made as little money as he claimed in his tax return.
Well, a $15,000 jacket, I would assume he would be able to.
Yes.
So maybe that's just to paint him as like a greedy guy. I can understand the brownstone, the $3 million in cash brownstone.
Sure. Yes, it certainly, they want him to look bad, right? I mean, as a prosecutor, you want to make this guy look as bad as he can, that not only did he commit these crimes, but look at what he spent it on. He didn't, this money wasn't spent on camps for kids or, other civil organizations. This was spent on him, a pool with a flowing waterfall and other stuff that the jurors may not like.
I wanted to interject that the other issues that he was in trouble for is regarding loans. The IRS has very, very strict rules on reporting of a loan. If it's not a loan, it will be considered as income. And that's what's happened in this matter.
How do they determine? So where did he claim he got loans from?
They claim he received it from the banks, but the accountant falsified the documents from the bank.
Okay. But these loans were not loans from the banks. Where did he get this money from?
From the Russian oligarchs.
From the Russian oligarchs.
Yes.
Okay. So how does the IRS determine whether the Russian oligarchs, for example, the claim is this is not money earned. The oligarchs loaned him money, and he was paying it back to them. How do you determine, how does the IRS determine this is money he earned versus this is a loan?
Okay, because this is something very similar to what I did for one of my clients. For something to be considered a loan, you have to draft a promissory note stating the amount of the loan and the repayment period. Also has to be reported on the books.
And basically what they brought to the accountant is you falsified these documents after the fact, and that's why the accountant ended up turning state's evidence to avoid any sort of prosecution.
Correct.
And now the accountant is saying that Manafort told the accountant to do all of this.
Correct.
And that is a separate count and a separate charge besides the $30 million in underreported income and the lying to the IRS.
Correct.
All which would end up ultimately getting him in jail for 20, 30 plus years. Correct. Why, Paul, we read that he is in jail today?
Well, he has a separate matter pending in Washington as well, and that judge there, who set the original bail, determined that him and his attorneys and investigators and team approached several witnesses on this matter and the Washington matter as well, and believed that to be tampering with witnesses, and determined that that is in violation of his bail.
Now, this guy Gates, who was his partner in this crime, in this conspiracy, he pled guilty to his own criminal activity. Was he a smaller fish? Is it usually the U.S. attorney wants the biggest fish? And what did he plead guilty to? And what is he saying in his testimony right now that Manafort did?
Well, he's testifying, and yes, the federal government wants to work their way up. They don't go to get the big fish and work their way down and get all the little guys. They go the other way. They go and get the little guys in hopes of getting the bigger fish. And Gates, they determined to be a little fish.
So now Gates is looking at 71 months in jail, which is about 5 years, in return for, I guess, if you get sentenced to 71 years, you get some time.
71 months, yes.
71 months. So you're probably looking around a little over 5 years, maybe?
Yeah, there's a chart, actually. The federal government does it a little different than the states. There's no parole. There's none of that. You get a little bit of good time. So in about 4 or 5 year jail sentence, you save about 6 months.
So Gates turns state's evidence. He says, you know what, I don't want to go to jail for 30 years. I'll take the 71 months. I'll do a little over 5 years. I'm going to turn state's evidence. He's now coming to court and admitting that he was cheating on his wife with whether it was mistresses or women or prostitutes or whatever it was. He has admitted to committing financial crimes, underreporting income. Gates has admitted to falsifying documents with the IRS. What is Manafort? Now, Manafort, I assume, was given some sort of plea deal and turned it down. What is, we don't know what that was, okay? But what is Manafort's defense to all of this? You got his accountant and his business partner coming in saying, you're a crook.
Right.
And what's Manafort's defense?
He's saying, no, I didn't do anything. These guys are criminals. Of course they're turning state's evidence. Look how much evidence that the government has against my accountant who was responsible for filing my tax returns. And look at my business partner who was stealing money out from our business and needed to make these things up so that he wouldn't get in trouble. You see that all the time in these type of prosecutions, and I think the defense team has a tough road here.
So,
And also Manafort sign off on those tax returns too.
So when you're the one who signs off, you're signing off under penalties of perjury.
Yes, you're ultimately responsible.
What do you expect to see happen over the next course of the next few days?
Well, you can expect a lot more from Gates. I mean, I think we're not done watching him being cross-examined on the witness stand. There'll be other witnesses, probably a lot more forensic-type witnesses, more forensic accounting going through some of the books. There were also several international bank accounts that were open, and money flowed through those. You'll probably hear some witnesses testify as to things of that nature.
All right. So why are there, by the way, there's 2 trials, Paul. Why is there 2 trials going on?
You mean his second trial?
There's going to be a second trial in Washington, D.C.
Yes. That's the more politically relevant trial. The one in Virginia is about these tax returns, tax frauds, and hiding of income.
So we already heard from Carmela. She said, you know, she's handled cases like this before. She would go over their bank accounts, you know, prepare new profit and loss to at least, you know, show, hey, we're trying to be truthful now,
so
right?
In this case, like if I had a similar case, what I will do is go over the bank statement, prepare an amended tax return, which will look favorably in front of a judge, if this case goes that far.
Paul, what would you do as a criminal defense attorney? Are the defense attorneys acting appropriately? Should they have taken a deal? Do you think Manafort's going down? What do you think ultimately, you know, you have a guy who you know, everything is going against him.
Yes.
He's got nothing positive going on in this case, and by all accounts, it looks like he's going to jail for the next 30 years. Do you think this is like a situation where he's just counting on Trump to give him a pardon?
You know, there's been months of this conversation. I wouldn't, you know, begin to understand what's happening behind that closed door, but there's a lot of political motivations here. I think one of the reasons that the prosecutors chose to try this first case in Virginia is because it's a much more conservative, pro-prosecution type of jurisdiction, and they're worried about having the first case in Washington, D.C., which is a much more liberal jury. They want to start this, you know, Mueller's investigation. This is the first trial. They want to start it off on the right foot. They want to get a conviction.
Well, Trump has tweeted. He's tweeted a bunch of tweets in favor of Manafort. Some of them are not necessarily true. He tweeted a while back, wow, what a tough time for Paul Manafort, who has represented Ronald Reagan, Bob Dole, and many other top political people in campaigns. He wrote on a Twitter post the day that his bail was revoked. Trump also said, he worked for me for, what, 49 days or something? I feel badly for some people because they have gone back 12 years to find things. I don't know how you can feel badly for someone who was hiding $30 million in taxable income. You know, you got to pay your fair share like anybody else. Now, Manafort did not work for Trump for 49 days. No. He worked for Trump for 5 months, and as a matter of fact, had a relationship, at least we know in this trial, going back with Trump to at least 2012, because there's an email exchange between Gates, Manafort, and Donald Trump in 2012, where Manafort sent Trump his Yankee tickets.
Yeah.
So this relationship with Manafort and Trump has gone back several years, although Trump, he himself is not on trial, nor is the Russian collusion, which is really conspiracy to commit an election fraud.
Right.
So Giuliani's correct when he says there's no collusion, but there is a conspiracy statute, and the conspiracy statute is, did you make an agreement with a foreign power to undermine the U.S. election?
Yep.
We will find out about that. My guess, and I'll let you, because you don't know how it's going to turn out. We assume, based on everything we see, that Manafort's going down. Okay? Now there's a second trial. I think between the first and second trial, he's going to be looking to Trump to pardon him. Trump's pardoned everybody. All right? Trump has pardoned Joe Arpaio and suggested pardoning other people as well, Martha Stewart. The governor, Blagojevich, he said he may pardon. So I wouldn't be shocked if Manafort's holding out for a pardon. And if he doesn't get that pardon before the second trial, maybe he may turn to Mueller and say, okay, now I'll talk.
Right.
Because there is going to be a second trial. He's waiting to see what Trump does after this. It's my guess. I don't know for sure.
Right.
Now, if Trump does pardon him, I would assume that his attorneys would be concerned that the sheer fact of pardoning somebody who has testimony pertinent, who perhaps may have pertinent testimony against Donald Trump for crimes he committed towards a conspiracy to rig the U.S. election with the Russian government, if in fact that's where the facts are leading. We don't know what Mueller has. That in of itself could be obstruction of justice.
Yeah, it certainly sounds that way, and it gets dicey as you start to weed your way through this. It also could be that this is a bit of a game of chicken, that at all points the federal government thought that Manafort would turn state's evidence against Trump, and he didn't. So here we are at a trial. Now he'll get convicted, and or not convicted, but if convicted, now he has another opportunity. Should he go to the federal government and say, okay, here's what I have, help me out with my sentence. I don't want to do 20 years in jail.
Or 30.
Or 30 years. Or the rest of my life.
Right.
And the lifestyle I know is gone.
Now, on a separate note from Manafort, Carmela, I have one more tax question for you.
Yes.
It was reported in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, Michael Cohen, another nefarious character in President Trump's circle.
Yes.
He's President Trump's longtime personal attorney, whatever that means, and fixer, whatever that means.
Yes.
He owns some medallions, some taxi medallions, and underreported income on those taxi medallions. What do you know about this, and what you think could possibly happen in terms of tax consequences and criminal consequences for Michael Cohen?
Yes, because taxi medallions is like a lease, so it's considered something like rental income, and he's supposed to report that on his taxes. And failure to do so is tax fraud. So in his case, he may strike a deal with the prosecutors and may turn state evidence against Trump. But those are very, very serious charges for not reporting the income from taxi medallions.
And that's several $100,000.
Yes.
And you've represented people,
Yes,
and with Paul,
Yes.
you represent people jointly in these tax, criminal, because tax evasion, tax problems lead to criminal charges.
Yeah, they do.
And you jointly represent people both as a tax attorney and as a criminal defense attorney. Michael Cohen, if he was your client, what would you tell him to do?
Immediately amend his tax returns. Immediately.
And basically the whole point is...
You may want to hire a good attorney. Too.
Right. And I guess the point would be to show that now that it's been brought to my attention, I am making every effort to fix it.
Right. And the amended tax return is an admission, saying, yes, I'm making a correction to my tax returns, and I'm paying the applicable taxes and penalties.
Right. So he's coming forward and saying mea culpa before. Now, Martha Stewart and even Leona Helmsley, if you remember, Leona Helmsley was the wife of Harry Helmsley, the big real estate tycoon, and also Martha Stewart, both sent to jail, both multimillionaires, not only for lying on their taxes, but then continuing the lie. So it was the continuation of the lie that ultimately got them prosecuted versus you were found out, quickly fixing it, and then saying, and then basically pleading your case to the court that I fixed it, I'm a good person, and beg for mercy.
Right. That was a mistake as opposed to a criminal activity.
Right. Well, it'll be very interesting to see what happens with this Manafort. By all accounts, it looks like he's going to be going to jail for a very long time. What's going to be interesting is after the conviction, which should come down sometime next week, unless they have the Manafort's attorneys pull some rabbit out of their hat, or the jury is just simply not listening to the testimony, which could always also possibly happen. But by all accounts, from what we read, and I haven't seen the trial, but from all accounts, from what we read and what they are presenting as the prosecutor's presenting, he's going to be going to jail for a long time. There's going to be another trial. It'll be very interesting to see what Trump does and if Manafort flips before the second trial.
And Cohen.
And Cohen as well.
Cohen as well.
Well, Cohen looks like he's flipping already.
It certainly sounds like Trump has left him out.
Out to dry.
Cohen's about to say, "Oh yeah, well here you go."
Yeah. Well, Paul Hirsch, fabulous job. Thank you for filling us in.
Sure.
Carmela Walren, thank you for filling us in as well. Carmela's a fabulous tax attorney here. Anybody at Spar Bernstein, anybody who has any tax issues, owes taxes, or anything with their tax returns, Carmela's Carmela is your attorney, and of course, Paul Hirsch, a district attorney in Brooklyn for 15 years, now on the other side here at Spar Bernstein, and doing a fabulous job for our clients who are sometimes in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Sometimes they are.
Thank you very much, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks,
Thank you.
All right. All right, there we go. We got Omar waiting in Brooklyn. Omar, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. I wanted to know something. My wife filed a 1485, and I get back the letter in June, and I wanted to know when will I expect to get back my work permit and my interview date.
Did you take your fingerprints?
Yes, I did.
All right, so assuming everything was done properly, I'm assuming that, June, July, by September, end of September, mid-September, you should have your work permit. Your interview
And
won't
like
be
the
until next
interview?
year. Interview will be next year.
Oh, okay.
All right.
January, February there.
Probably past that, sometime in the spring.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Let's go to Mr. Persaud in Queens, New York. Mr. Persaud.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, Mr. Brad. I have a question about immigration.
Yes.
Last year, July 25th, me and my wife went for an interview. We did the interview. The officer tell us everything goes well. If they need anything more, they will let us know. Almost 1 year now, and we never heard back from them. And I sent an email to them last Friday, and one lady in Long Island, she emailed me back and said she think that case denied. But she have to send back to the case and review it back. That's all she sent back in the email and tell me. Do you know what's happening there?
I have no idea who you're emailing, but whoever you're emailing has no idea what's going on with your case. Because the person who interviewed you or their supervisor is not responding to your email. So I'm not sure who you're emailing or what information you're getting, but I could assure you there's no email to actually email somebody and find out what happened with your case. If it's been more than a year, obviously there's a big problem, and I would suggest you come in, let's review what happened, and then we can take the appropriate measures, whether it's get a copy of your records and see what happened, or follow up.
Okay, when can I come in?
Tomorrow. Hold on one second. All right. So with that being said, Sophia Gray.
Yeah.
This is my comment of the day.
Okay.
Am I allowed to have a comment of the day every so often?
It's your show. You're allowed to do
my show,
whatever. You make the rules.
I make the rules.
Right there?
It's good to be the king.
Yes.
Yeah.
That says Bradshaw.
That says Brad.
And my name ain't Brad.
Right
My
there.
name's not Brad.
Right
Is your
there.
name Brad?
Right there.
Because someone's name's got to
Right
be
there.
Brad, surely.
Wait.
We drink from a
reach.
Bradshaw
No, you
mug.
can't. It's too far away from you.
Yes. The picture next to the words Bradshaw is a middle-aged white lawyer with a jacket and a pocket square on.
Pocket square.
That fits the bill.
Thus.
We don't have pocket squares.
Thus.
No.
Thus.
Yeah.
Bradshaw.
Bradshaw.
With that being said,
Yeah.
Sophia Gray says, "Great job, Brad Bernstein. Keep it up."
Oh.
I like it.
Awesome.
Man.
And Carol Anderson, the Tiger, always with a nice compliment at the end of the show, says, "Brad, you're doing absolutely fabulous. Great job. Love the show."
Carol Anderson, the Tiger, loves her son,
Yes.
Brad.
Yes. I like it. I like it. And last thing I want to remind everybody before we actually get to the real comments of the day.
Right.
Which is in about 8 minutes from now.
Yeah.
We are going to come back live on YouTube at Bradshaw Live. So if you're watching and you want to watch Bradshaw Live after hours, we're going to be on for another 10, 15 minutes. It's going to be a brand new show, a different show than what you're watching right now. Subscribe to Bradshaw Live on YouTube, and you'll be notified every time we do Bradshaw after hours. It may sometimes be right after the show. Maybe it'll be 3 hours after the show. Maybe Yo-Yo and Belgium Kim will go off to City Island. We'll have some crabs and come back and do the show at 11. You never know.
Don't get me hyped.
But at this very moment, it will be right after. But you never know when Bradshaw After Hours will come on.
Why would you say that?
Which
And
is
you know
why.
I'm craving some crab legs.
Which is why. But that's why you need to subscribe, because you never know when it's going to come back on.
You're going to need that notification.
You're going to need that notification. So go to YouTube right now and subscribe to @Bradshaw Live. And we're going to be back on YouTube only, not on Facebook, but on YouTube only in about 10 minutes or so. But before we say goodbye, we have to have the real comments of the day. Belgium Kim.
The real comments of the day. The very first one is from Patrona Collins. Patrona was moved by today's Groundhog Sam and said, "Don't worry, Groundhog Sam. We always got your back."
Okay.
They always
Very nice.
know Groundhog Sam.
Very nice. Yes, they all ganged up on the bullies.
Yeah, and they were like, "Nah,
Friday.
you got this." Don Harriet said, "Brad, it's really nice that you are keeping up your clean shave." They're noticing. They've noticed.
This is true.
Look at this man. Look at this man.
This is true.
That's a clean-shaven man right there.
Oh, you giving them profile?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Three quarters?
What's your blue steel looking like these days, Brad?
Whoa.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
man,
Okay.
that is smooth.
Okay.
Oh, smooth.
That's my blue steel. That's all I can do.
That's a great blue steel. And our final comment of the day is from Stacey Ann Robinson. She peeked in the comments earlier today, and she hasn't been able to watch, but she said, "I miss you all, but I've been watching the replays every single day."
Oh, that's amazing. We have probably half the views come 24 hours later.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a lot of people watch the replays of Bradshaw Live.
And they miss the Brad Squad, but they'll take what they can get.
Which is why we're doing Bradshaw After Hours, and it's going to basically be a pop-up show that may happen at any time. On any day, you never know when we're just going to pop up for 10 minutes.
Yep.
The pop-up show, Bradshaw After Hours, starting on YouTube. We're going to tell you only today when it's going to come on live. You never know when it's going to come on live after, so you got to subscribe. Bradshaw on YouTube. Right?
YouTube,
Is that what you Google?
Yeah, you go on YouTube and you say Bradshaw Live.
Bradshaw Live, and you subscribe.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we'll see you back 10 minutes on YouTube. Bradshaw Live After Hours. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK. 1-800-529-5465. What are you doing?